Welcome to the Backpacking Blisters podcast. With me today is Ben McAuliffe.
Hey!
Ben, what's something that makes no sense to you, buddy?
So we were kind of talking about this morning, while you were taking the day running around errands, and I was prepping, and I had a full day. So we do our weekly grocery shopping up in Oregon, and people that leave their carts in the middle of the aisle and look like at it. Like, I don't get how people go to grocery stores and think they're the only one there. Like, it just boggles my mind. Like no consideration for anything else. Like, I'm always mindful of where my cart is. And if someone's getting close to, I'm like, oh, do you need me to move that? Or can I help you reach this top item shelf? But the people that just like leave their cart
Right.
so it's blocking the whole aisle and walk away. Don't get it.
That's really funny. On the flip side, there's times when I'm in the grocery store and there's not very many people there, and I'll go down an aisle and I'll look at something that's kind of like obscure, maybe like not a popular item, maybe it's like top shelf, bottom shelf, whatever. And then somebody comes down the same aisle and like it's a full aisle, so they could literally look at anything, but they're like, actually, I'm looking at something in the exact same space you are.
Right.
So part of me is surprised by that, but then the opposite happens to me, where I'll go down an aisle, there's one person there, and I'm like, dude, there's carts blocking the exact spot I want to be looking. So I don't know. I don't know why that happens.
Yeah. No, we had it. It seems like it happens when I'm like, I need to pause and like look at spices for smoking meat or something. And I don't know. I don't know if you've seen this Truman. Have you seen the Truman Show by any chance with Jim Carrey?
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah. So you remember when he's trying to leave town and like all of a sudden he hits the roundabout and it's like cars just come in out of nowhere and like, well, literally, like I'll be like, oh, nobody's in this aisle. And same thing, rather than one person, it's like all of a sudden there's 5 people converging to that one spot. And I'm just like, and so maybe I gotta start leaving my shopping cart blocking it so like nobody can get by.
Yeah, just create a barrier.
Yeah. Have my kids hold one cart so it just blocks me in.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So we're talking about backpacking trends that make no sense today, and this is where we have guest Matty Outdoors, YouTuber. He's gonna pop on here in a second, and then I want to talk about like maybe like in the tidbit section, what's the biggest cultural trend that bothers you, that bothers me the most. So we'll get to that at the end.
Yeah.
But this episode is brought to us by Enlighten Equipment, maker of the best ultralight quilts and jackets on the market. This is a backpacking trend that makes a lot of sense, is going ultralight with the best gear. Check it out at enlightenedequipment.com.
Yeah. So you got the Bible verse of the episode, Carl?
I do. 1 Corinthians 14:33, for God is not a God of confusion, but of peace. So we've both got some backpacking trends that confuse us. We're going to be talking about those. But in general, what's the most confusing thing to you in life?
Oh my gosh. People that think the world is flat.
The flat earthers.
I don't understand. Yeah, the flat earthers. I just don't understand how that works. So, we were talking about that with our kids because the moon used to be on the other side of our bedroom, and now it's like doesn't come in through our bedroom window anymore because the earth shifted. And so it's like, how can you believe the earth is flat unless like, I don't know, weird stuff's happening. So, yeah.
I feel like you're tempting me to like kind of defend the flat earthers just for the sake of argument, but I'm not going to, Ben. You're not sucking me in. So I think that's a fair answer.
No, I know you're a flat earther. Go ahead.
I find the flat earthers very entertaining. I'll say that. But we're not talking about flat earthing because I think we did an episode where we did dive into that a little bit, and it is highly interesting, but that was a long time ago.
Yeah, because you're a believer of it. Okay, moving on. Yep.
They're not a believer. Enough. Let's get to Matty Outdoors. Here we go.
All right.
With us today is Matty Outdoors, the authority on ultralight backpacking, somebody who really knows his backpacking trends, and he's got an awesome beard. How's it going today, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I don't know if I would call myself an authority on anything, but I appreciate that.
Too late. We already called you that, and you've done way more on ultralight stuff than we have, so you're our authority anyway.
All right, I'll take it.
All right, Matty. So you're up in Canada, far northern, middle Canada. Whereabouts? Because it's huge.
I'm in western, central-ish. I'm about 4 hours outside of the Rockies.
The reason I ask is since you're in Canada, do Do you go to the store and ever look for Vermont maple syrup, or is it always Canadian maple syrup?
What kind of question is that? That's your first question.
I honestly, I go to the store and I look for whichever maple syrup is on sale.
Oh, okay.
That's my kind of guy right there.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
They don't sell Vermont in Canada.
So
What are you talking
what
about?
would be one American food dish that you crave, that you go and like, I want America?
I don't know if it's like at every place, but this Subway at in Vegas, when I was in Vegas a couple years ago, they had it's like a buffalo chicken sub.
Subway. That's not what I would have guessed.
Okay.
That you'd say.
Nice.
But interesting. Getting back to backpacking here, I was on one of your videos recently, and I don't know if I just missed something or if this is a new thing or if I just kind of caught something, but did you sew your name onto your backpack?
Yeah, ULA does it. I'm too busy talking about my own backpack. No, it's an option ULA offers. It's I think it was like an extra $10 or $15 or something like that. So
Gotcha. See? Authority.
Is the reason you do that is so when you're passing other people, it has your name, so people know, like, oh man, that's Matty. Like, okay, he's fast.
That's mad.
exactly. It just helps people recognize me out on trail because I'm already socially awkward enough as it is with that kind of thing.
Wait. You're socially awkward when you encounter people on a trail, or socially awkward like telling people like, hey, I'm kind of a big deal on YouTube?
Both.
I don't think so, man. Like, you seem very easy to talk to.
So we're talking backpacking trends, and we're kind of talking about a video you sent out. And so what are the backpacking trends that make no sense to you? Like, that you just shake your head at? Obviously, you're trying to set one by having your name on your backpack, which I might start to do so people can recognize me on the trail. And
Ben, are you answering the question for him by saying that the trend where you put your name on your own pack does not make any sense? Is that what you're doing right there?
no, I literally said that trend makes sense to me. Like, I want to start that trend too. So I'm gonna get some label makers.
That's starting. He already did it.
Well, down here in the States, okay.
Oh my gosh, Matty, you put that video out a couple months ago, so we'll go through. Let's go through some of your answers here. So the first one that you had on there was trend that made no sense was people that put duct tape on their trekking pole.
I've tried this. I've tried it with Gorilla Tape. I've tried it with duct tape, and I've seen a lot of people do it. It's awesome if you never ever hike in the rain, but like as soon as you start hiking in any kind of rainy weather, like the duct tape, the edges just fall apart and it's not going to hold at all. Even Gorilla Tape, it's the same thing. Leuco Tape does the same thing.
Okay, so you're saying it's a trend because it's actually, for the most part, useless.
I guess I need to stop looking at everybody like and thinking everybody hikes the same way that I do. Like if it's pouring rain when I leave my house, like I'm still going to go. I don't care. Not the most enjoyable thing, but I'd rather do that than sit in my house for 4 or 5 days. So, I know a lot of people that, like, if the weather looks like it might be bad, they'll pull the plug and not go.
Oh, for sure. 100%.
So I need to know what's the trend about the duct tape on? Is it to hold their trekking poles together?
No, I think people are putting it on there to have spare tape. Like they're doing like a bunch of the tape around the trekking pole.
Okay, I was thinking it was like I thought it was like hockey sticks. You know how you wrap your blade or something. Like
you could, I guess.
Just looks cool.
But no, it's I think it's to have spare tape, and it's just like a place to carry it instead of like wrapping it around a little business
carabiner or something.
Carabiner,
Yeah.
Not a carabiner. Oh my gosh. So for me, this is like somebody who's trying to be efficient. They're like a fiddler. They're like, okay, how can I take one thing out of my pack and make it more integrated in what I do? And so I think this is like the fiddler. They're kind of like solving a problem that's not really a problem, because I know you said in the video that you do it kind of around a business card or whatever, but they sell these little mini rolls of duct tape you can literally just shove in your first aid kit, and it's not taking up any extra space. It's already part of a kit that you've got. So to me, this is, yeah, I agree with you. I think it's a silly trend.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. My friend Devin's going to hate me for saying this, but he does it all the time. He's got like the wrap and duct tape around his trekking pole all the time. And anytime he's ever needed duct tape or tape for any kind of reason, he comes to me or somebody else that we're hiking with. It never works.
It's never worked.
Okay, so you got evidence.
I like how you subtly said how like cool you are, that you're like, I just go hiking in the rain, because Carl never does. Like, it has to be good weather. If it's raining, he's in a cave, he's hiding, you know. Like,
Incorrect.
me and you, we totally go outside
Incorrect.
and hike in the rain, thunderstorms, tsunamis, blizzards.
You and I are the tough ones, is what Ben's saying. Yeah, nice, Ben.
I don't do it because I like doing it. I do it sort of. I'm kind of forced to. Like, I don't have an option. I have to plan ahead with my hikes and stuff now. Like, I mean, I've got 2 kids now and family life at home, so like I've got my trips planned out usually 4 or 5 months in advance.
Second thing we got, you had on your video was quilt pad straps. So I believe you use an Enlightened Equipment quilt, but you don't use the pad straps. Is that correct?
Right. I've just never used the pad straps. I don't know, but I don't toss and turn a lot.
Okay.
I know. I find as long as I've got like the neck cinched up enough that like it's just enough to keep it on my shoulders, and I don't ever really get any drafts or cool spots or anything like that. But I've tried pad straps. I've tried adjusting them and setting them up every which way, and I'm not a believer in pad straps. They don't work for me.
Ben, any thoughts on that?
Well, all I can think of is on one of our trips, we had a lady that didn't know how to use them, and that's all I can think of is maybe you're not sure how to use them.
He's an authority on ultralight backpacking. What are you talking about?
I've had Justin showed me, and he's like, no, like, you're using this. They're the same same way I'm using them.
Hey, one less thing, man.
Yeah, I would definitely need it.
Yeah. And you're talking about Just Outdoors, just to clarify, right?
Yeah.
All right, the next one, this one is like legit. I've seen a lot of these. This is a legitimate trend. The inflatable pillows with the strap that goes, it's supposed to go like around your sleeping pad. You're not digging that.
It's like a problem that never existed. Like, there never needed to be a solution for it. I don't know when people stopped just taking your spare shirt and like pulling it over top of your like sleeping pad and then sticking your pillow inside there. And it's nice because you don't get that like rubber against your face. You get like, whatever kind of shirt you got.
Yeah.
That used to be they used to be my luxury item for a lot of years. They used to carry just like a tank top.
Your luxury item was a tank top?
It's like like the really like high end cottony tank top to go over top of my sleeping pad and my pillow. So it was like my pillowcase.
A silky tank top.
It's like my luxury.
Do you subscribe to the theory, sun's out, guns out? Is that why?
No.
We got a tank top.
No, he's in Canada. It's always snow, cold and snow.
I hike year round in a long sleeve. I wear like those outdoor research sun hoodies.
Okay, so you're saying the tank top is simply a pillowcase, and that your luxury item was basically a pillowcase.
Yes. Yeah, that's all I use it for. Yeah, but it just I bought one that was like the high end, like soft, silky cotton.
Because if you're using a shirt and it's a shirt you haven't worn yet, I think that's fine. But if you're, on a longer trip and you're swapping shirts out, then you're cozying up to like the smell of body odor, and that's probably not what you want.
No,
at bedtime.
It was just for that. It was just for that.
Yeah, that's like a pro tip right there. Luxury item is a tank top that you don't have to use for the sun's out, guns out philosophy. So there you go. Ben, what do you think about pillows with straps?
Yeah, I would definitely use the straps. I actually had a mummy sleeping bag, and I got stuck in my sleeping bag because I cinched the pillow because it was moving down on top of my head inside the sleeping bag, and I couldn't get my arms out because I'm not a narrow guy like you. And so I got trapped in my mummy bag. Had I had the straps, my pillow would have been fine, and I wouldn't need to cinch it down.
Yeah.
It would have not been an issue. So it probably would have saved my life.
Yeah, I don't use the strap either. And I think that the main argument is that the pad plus the pillow can get slippy. Probably not an issue like you're saying with your tank top on there, but it can kind of like squirt off the pad in the middle of the night and you wake up without your pillow there. Not a big problem I've had, but yeah, again, people are looking to solve all sorts of problems that may not be problems. So, yeah. Next one you had was the frameless backpack. What is the problem with that one?
I don't know. I just don't get it. Like, why wouldn't you use the technology that's available to make it more comfortable? Even carrying, 15 pounds total for like an overnight weight, it's a lot more comfortable to carry with a padded hip belt than it is to just carry on your shoulders. So I don't get it. Like, it doesn't make you hike any faster.
Right.
It's just a fad, I think. I don't know.
I like the hip pads too. I mean, when you carry weight and you got it sitting right, it helps a lot to alleviate a lot of the pain and issues. And I mean, there's nothing worse than day 2 and you're just already miserable because if your backpack's not sitting right, it just makes everything miserable. Like, you can't, you want to hit that red button and get out of there.
One of the best parts about like using a framed backpack with a hip belt too is when I hit ultralight with a backpack like that that's heavier, it just makes me that much more ultralight than the other guys that carry a lighter backpack, because like I've carried lighter gear to get to that point.
Well, if they're going to challenge it, like, why would you even want to do that? I will admit, I'm considering that for this next season because I have had some hip problems. And so, like, when you cinch the hips down on the hip bone, like, it compresses it and you don't have that freedom of movement. And so my hips are, like, on fire when I've got any sort of weight. So I was looking at going for a trip with higher mileage. I was looking to try to go, like, ultralight, like you're saying, 15 pounds or less total pack weight. And then as a result, like, kind of move faster, knock out the miles faster, and get the pack off the back faster. So that's my theory, but I haven't tried it out yet.
So like, are you getting the miles done faster because like it's that much more uncomfortable, so you're just motivated to go faster?
just wants to run.
Maybe, yeah. We're gonna turn this into like fast packing, like where you run half the time. So yeah, I've done a lot. I mean, I don't know. So I've been doing a lot of training, not quite up to the 15-pound level, but with packs that are more like in the 10-pound range. And I just feel like if I've got my trekking poles, I'm kind of powering through the hills. I'm hitting the miles pretty fast, and I don't have the pain. So it's all theoretical, but it sounds like you got the experience. So we'll see how it plays out.
So what's your average pack weight, Matt?
With food and water for like a 2-3 day backpacking trip, probably 18, 19 pounds.
So have you ever thought about having that sewn into the pack, like your pack weight? So it has your name, and then your pack weight's right under it. So you, as you're passing everyone, they're like, "Oh man, that guy he's legit."
Dang, that's why he's so fast.
I looked into it, but I couldn't get a scale that was light enough. Because like, if I'm gonna do it, I want the live weight scale, right?
So it's just telling you.
Day 2, it's down to 15. Yeah. Day 3, it's down to 12. Yeah.
Love it.
The last one you had, this is a trend that's been around for a while, and I actually thought it was dead until we had somebody come on our show about a year ago who convinced me that it actually was like alive and going strong, and that is cold soaking. Tell us your thoughts on that.
It's disgusting. I don't understand. Like, why would you not want like a delicious warm meal at the end of the day? Like, why would you want to sit there and suffer through eating just like grainy cold pasta? Like,
I feel Matty, I feel like we're kindred spirits here, because I'm this you come off as like this grouchy old man of like, I want to be comfortable on the trail, I want warm food, but I'm hiking in the rain. And that's how I am. Like, I come off that way too, like, kids are bringing cell phones too on the trail, get away from nature.
it's just one of those things. Like, I feel like the people that do it for the sake of being able to talk about it.
Fair
Look
enough.
how tough I am.
Yeah. I think it's more just that there's some folks out there that I would call just fun haters. Like, we just don't want to have the enjoyment, breaking bread, having a nice meal. We just want to, like, they're so concerned with the label of being ultralight or whatever their base weight is that they are sacrificing things that just make life enjoyable, especially when it's like cold at night too. So I'm with you on that. So Ben and I each came up with our own trends that to us don't make any sense. And so we're going to run them by you. Agree, disagree. What are your thoughts? So Ben, what's your first one? Or what? Not your first one. What's your only one?
My first one, my first one that just doesn't make sense to me, and I'm known for this on this show, is ultralighting just doesn't make sense to me.
Like,
I mean,
ultralight in general.
I get you want like lighter stuff. Like, totally makes sense. I want my pack as light as it can be to a certain extent. Yep. But at what cost? Like you're saying, like cold soaking, because people don't want to bring extra camp stove, not extra, you just bring a camp stove or even a toothbrush. Like, people just run with just water and like a summer sausage down the trail because they're ultralighters.
I definitely think there's some people that go into it like with that kind of mindset, like you said, they just want to be like the most extreme of the extreme. For me, it was more like I did it just because I wanted to see if I could do it. However long there's kind of been that like arbitrary 10-pound base weight number. So when I started lighter gear, I guess like I wanted to see it as a challenge, but like I didn't want to give up certain comforts. So like I wasn't going to give up a framed backpack. I was going to make sure I included like my bear spray and my InReach and that kind of stuff with my base weight, because it is stuff that I am carrying and I carry with me all the time. Like, I know I saw it as a challenge, I guess. I just wanted to do it.
And I get that it's not for everybody, Ben, but it makes sense why people do that. Like, there's a reason behind that. They don't want to have the friction, the weight on their back. They want to go faster. They want to feel better at the end of the day. And like Matty's saying, it's a challenge. So I get that not everybody's into it, but
yeah, I get that part of it. For me, it's just the ultra lighters. Like, I want my pack weight to be lighter because it helps your body overall, helps you at camp, you have more energy. But yeah, I'm not losing certain comforts. Like.
But now you're changing your answer. Now you said ultralight doesn't make sense. Now you're saying ultralight doesn't make sense.
No, if you would have, Carl, you just don't listen when I talk. He's already on the next thing. But I said it's not the ultralight, it's the ultralight I don't get, because I get making your pack lighter.
Okay. All right. Here's mine, Matty. So first of all, I went back to your video and I looked at all the comments that people made, and there's one person that thought umbrellas and rain skirts make people look too Mary Poppins-ish. I thought that was a funny comment. And so shout out to whoever that was.
Not incorrect.
Yeah. So mine is face. I call them face sunglasses, where I started with seeing them with runners, but then I've seen them kind of spill over to the backpacking community, where it's just basically like they're the wraparound glasses, but they literally go up like halfway up your forehead and they cover your face. It's almost like a windshield for not only your eyes, but your forehead, and they're just massively big. I feel like these are something that we're going to be making fun of people for here in like a year or two. But have you seen those in Canada?
I have not. I'm pretty fortunate to still know of quite a few places that aren't super popular, so I'm fortunate to not have to run into that kind of thing out on trail.
To face sunglass people.
I ran into the sunglasses that cover your full face, like the full windshield down in Mexico, like right on the border. So I know, so that was the weird, But if you're hiking in the rain, wouldn't that be helpful? Like hail, rain? I mean, it's something you should probably carry with you, Matty.
Face glasses.
Rain or shine, I
guess.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
To me, like, sunglasses is just weird. Like, I have regular glasses, so I don't do the sunglass thing. Gotta deal with.
All right. Something we've been trying to start with our esteemed guests is something we call the lightning round. We're going to ask you questions. You got literally 1 minute to answer as many questions as you can. You're only our second guest doing this. First guest got 8.
All right.
We don't know if that's good or not. We're going to find out. I have a feeling like there's some guests we have on that can only answer 1. But Ben and I are going to shoot at you back and forth. So
right. And we haven't decided a prize yet. So just so you know, we haven't decided a prize yet.
But we'll get you one.
You'll get something.
For sure.
Yeah.
Maybe some face sunglasses.
All right, I can go. Yeah, I can go first.
Okay. Ready, set, go.
Cargo shorts or fanny pack?
Fatty pack.
Favorite backpacking brand?
Arc'teryx.
Nice.
Baseball or rugby?
Neither.
Oh.
Is Snickers a candy bar or energy bar?
Oh, a candy bar. It's delicious.
Ever had an alien encounter?
No.
Can you explain cow mutilations?
I can. I don't want to. I live on a farm, so I see some stuff.
Whoa! Okay, we'll ask about that in a second.
Do you collect rocks?
No, I don't.
What's something better about Canada than the United States?
Hockey?
Oh. Lord of the Rings or Star Wars?
And time. All right.
Oh, he was going to say
Ben, how many questions did you ask?
What?
Or did
1,
he answer?
2, 3, 4. 4, and then he almost answered Star Wars, so I got 4.
Okay, so I got 4 as well. So you tied. You're tied for the lead, Matty. Tied for the lead.
Nice.
And the only question that really tripped you up was the cow mutilations question.
If you go back and listen, you'll argue because Carl kind of interrupted you, like, I want to hear more about this. And so I think you could have got 9, but Carl threw a curveball. And it might be because you're Canadian and he wants an American to win.
Ben, you were slow to ask the questions even out the gate. So enough of you. All right. What have you, so you used to live on a farm. Have you seen one for real?
Yeah, my grandparents had a farm when I was growing up. I spent pretty much every weekend out there when I was like growing up as a kid. And like I lived out there when I was an adult when my grandpa got sick for a bit. I was helping out. Yeah, no, we've seen some stuff. Like we had one summer we lost a bunch of calves. The bull that we had rented out was like jacked up on steroids and we didn't know. So he was pumping up like massive calves. The calves were coming out like the size of like a 2 or 3 month old calf. Heifers that like couldn't push the calf out. So like,
was the farm that you're talking about, was it called Skinwalker Ranch?
No. didn't have a name for it. It was like just like grandpa's hobby farm. He was an oil field guy. Like his dream was to retire and just farm the rest of his life, and he got to. So
I'm glad you clarified that, because I thought when he said cow mutilation, I was like, isn't that just butchering? Like,
no.
Are you serious? You've never heard of cow mutilations and like the weird conspiracies around that?
No, I haven't. I don't follow conspiracy
This
theories.
is not that kind of podcast, but we sometimes dabble in the conspiracy realm a little bit here and there. So, okay. Let's see here. Last question we got is, so you also put out a video, 5 things you need to bring on your next backpacking trip. I watched the video, and you had trowel, neck gaiter, ankle gaiter, sit pad, satellite communicator, all things that either I stopped bringing or never brought. It was like you were almost like you're like poking me. You're like, these are things you need to have, Carl. And I'm like, I think these things are like now rendered useless. So I don't know if that was intentional or not, but like of those things, make a case for one of them. Why is it so important that we have to bring that? What's going on here?
I would say honestly, like the neck gaiter to me is probably like the most useful piece of gear that you can get. Like,
okay, keep going, because I want to hear how you're going to argue this.
It has so many different purposes. Like,
incorrect.
I use mine as a pot grabber. I use it. I wear it a lot of times, so it's it's keeping the wind off my neck. I can pull it up to keep the wind off my face. You can make a beanie out of it. It gets hot outside. You dip it in the creek. It's cold. You get nice and wet. You put it around your neck. It like cools the arteries off, and you can use it for like a pillowcase, like we were talking earlier.
Yeah. So that's what I was gonna say. Is if you're bringing the tank top silky, why are you bringing the neck gaiter? It seems like you're doubling up on your items. Can't you just carry
Why do you think I'd stop carrying the silky tank top? I found a buff and upgraded.
So we call the buff just like a glorified shirt sleeve that in Canadian dollars has got to cost like $50 to $60. So you're comfortable shelling out that kind of cash for a shirt sleeve is what you're saying.
They're actually not too bad. Like even the actual buff branded ones, you can get them for like $20-$25.
Not in America.
No, you can get them for like $5 at stores, Carl. They're cheap here.
Not buff brand.
They sell cheaper here because they actually are Canadian company.
So that's why. Do you think you like them because like Canada's just a little behind the trend here in America?
I'm not sure. Like I've worn one for years. I'm not sure why you guys aren't on with it.
Oh, people are, just not me. I'm just not. The pot, okay, like I can break it down for you if you want. So I just grab the handles of my pot. I've never had a problem with that. I don't need it as a pot grabber. If you subscribe to the trend of the face shield sunglasses, doesn't need to shield your face at that point anymore. You said like you dip it in the stream to cool yourself off. Come on, it doesn't get hot in Canada, so that's not a thing. So
it gets really hot when you're hiking through the forest. The whole forest is on fire right behind you. It's hot.
That's fair.
Well, I think you're running at that point. You're not hiking. The real reason we're breaking down the real reason Matty wanted to get ultralight is so he can outrun the forest fire.
So you'll stop. You're like, forest fire's coming. Here's a creek. Let me just dip in real quick as the fire's encroaching upon you.
What you got to do, right?
That's right. All right. Well, thanks for playing along with us, challenging you on that one.
I appreciate it.
All right, Ben, you got the last question?
I do. What's new on your channel? What can people expect in the future?
Coming up, pretty quick here. It's getting into the winter time, so I got a lot of new winter gear I got to be testing out. I could probably do like 3 videos worth of just like new gear I'm testing type videos for all the winter gear. So that's going to be coming up pretty soon. I guess the big thing, I guess like long term with the channel is going to be like more like hiking with the kids and that kind of stuff.
Well, Matty, hey, man, it's been such an honor and a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much for playing along with our nonsense and for sharing all of your ideas about backpacking trends that make no sense.
For sure.
We'll
Nice
have
meeting you, man.
the link to your YouTube channel in our show description, so check out Matty Outdoors for all the latest and greatest, and apparently like some pretty awesome winter gear coming out.
Yeah, thanks, guys. It was a ton of fun.
So great to have Matty on the show.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, he shared, he had a lot of stuff to react to. Any thoughts?
A lot of the trends, I didn't get the duct tape on the trekking pole, so that was one that I'm glad he explained it. You guys explained it a little more, because I didn't know, like, I've never seen that or even heard of that, where people are just rolling duct tape on there so they have it for emergencies. It just seems like there's other ways to put it or store it. So, yeah, that was a weird one for me.
I don't know. Is that weird that you didn't know that one? Because that one's been around for a really long time. People put it on their water bottles. People, I don't know. People, that was around, dude. That was around. I think the guy that, I know what it was. So we brought like an MSR Whisperlight stove, and those are the ones that have the kind of the larger fuel canisters. And we brought that like when I was doing the John Muir Trail over 20 years ago, and the guy wrapped his duct tape around the fuel canister. So this is not a new trend. So maybe that's not a really good answer because it's not a trend, but it's been around for a long time.
No, I've seen it around around the Nalgene bottles. I know that. Like trekking poles, I just never seen it where people are like wrapping around there. I've never needed duct tape other than to when I've needed it, I've needed a whole roll. So like taping soles back onto boots or shoes. That's the only time I've needed like duct tape. And I think you mentioned that in the previous podcast that you've needed it for that too. So
like, quick recap, Matty Outdoors, this is the second time he's been on our show. He actually guest hosted with me about a year ago. And maybe he was great, man. Like, we had a good episode. It did really well. So I've kind of already established a rapport with him. This is your first time talking to him. And in the first conversation, you literally called him a grumpy old man. Like, is that your way to connect with people?
Well, I said we're kindred spirits. I said we're both coming off as grumpy old men.
Yeah, because he's called him that.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to help him so he knew that like maybe he sounded a little, like gear, like me, I mean, you called it to me in my third episode with you or something. So I thought it was what you do when you get to know people. You just call them grumpy old men. I was trying to learn. I learned from you, Carl. I learned it from you.
So what you're saying is if I reach back out to him, if I just like email him like, hey, Matty, was that comment by Ben offensive? Would he be like, no, we're buds now? Like, of course it's fine. Is that what you think he's going to say?
You should have asked him after the interview. You should have just let the camera roll and be like, so what'd you think of the grandpa comment? Like, is that good? What do you think?
Oh my gosh. That was funny. Yeah. I think he took it in good fun, but all right. So so you mentioned the one about the trekking pole. Was there any other trend that you're kind of like, that stood out to you? Were like, I 100% agree or I 100% disagree with what he was saying.
Yeah. So the neck gaiter,
that wasn't a trend. That was gear you need, is what he said for that one.
Yeah. And so, do you want to talk about that now, or do you want to go back to the trend?
I'm just clarifying.
Okay.
But go ahead.
No. I was against the neck gaiter until he started speaking, and then I'm like, man, I really like the neck gaiter. I think we should start bringing it back here in the States, more of a trend. So, what do you think if we just start wearing it more and getting it more, noticed and uses and.
No, I don't think we need to, man. Like, I'm in the minority for thinking that the buff is an overexpensive shirt sleeve. We've talked about this for years on our podcast. I'm in the minority. Everybody loves the buff. They are buff apologists. Buff is doing quite well as a company. So I think that by bringing attention to them, I think I've sold a bunch of extra buffs. People are like buying them indignantly. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm buying 5 more buffs to show you. And we've even had Buff on the show, and I asked them about that, and they're like, well, it's not a shirt sleeve, because it's, and then they kind of did all the technical stuff. So we've exhausted that one. Yeah. We exhausted the conversation, but I brought it back up for some reason.
Yeah. No, and I'm only kidding. I only used a neck gaiter when we had to wear masks, and that was it. So I'm not a big fan of them either.
And that was like the fake mask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just because it was comfortable. So yeah, no, I was just doing that to get you going. So
Okay.
the frameless backpack do anything for you, or?
I just got to try it out because I think that.
Yeah.
I think hip issues and there's kind of other things that kind of play there, but I get what he's saying for sure. I think the most offensive thing that he said was that Snickers is a candy bar, not an energy bar. But to each their own.
I wonder where they're at on the Canadian shelves. Are they like, just up front at the stores, or are they in the candy aisle, or what?
We have video footage in the American stores of them being in the energy bar section. So there's that. But okay. So again, thanks to Matty Outdoors. We're gonna have the link to his channel in the show description. And I think it's time for some trivia. What's the trivia called this time, Ben?
Trivia is trend trivia.
Trend trivia. Okay. We got that coming up right after this. The trail is calling your name. Are you ready? Are you really ready? Our good friend Rowan from Summit Strength can get you trail ready. Rowan uses rock-solid evidence to design a specialized training program just for you. There are plenty of cookie-cutter programs out there that will get you only halfway up the mountain. Make it to your adventure summit with Summit Strength. The link to your success is always in our episode description, but you can check out all the information you need at summitstrength.com.au/online. It's time to be strong and pain-free for your next adventure. Trend trivia brought to you by Teton. I was actually on Teton's Instagram today, and they had a picture of somebody napping in a tent. What do you think about naps on a backpacking trip, Ben?
I would think is that popular in Europe where people like naps?
Naps?
Yeah, naps are like siestas, Spain. I think no, but in all honesty, I think it's really popular over in Europe. I've never been to Europe other than a layover, and I took a nap on the layover. So maybe it's because I felt European at the time. But I think naps are healthy. So you know what? Why not take a nap? I mean, there's times where you need that rest day or the rest time, and maybe you just want to get away from some people, so you pretend to sleep.
Yes, that's true. It's 1 p.m. We've already done 10 miles. We got a few miles left to go. Middle of the day, I'm like, Ben, dude, I'm going to set up my tent real quick. I'm going to take a quick nap, a power nap. You're okay with that?
Yeah, because I know I'd catch up to you. Like, I'd probably be more like, yeah, Carl, go ahead. I don't have to slow down for you. You just go ahead. I'll set up camp.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if that made sense. Yeah. I'm talking to you. I'm about to take a nap, and you're going to catch up to me even though we're standing next to each other. But then you might slow down for me.
No, I know. Halfway through, I realized what you said because I was thinking I should probably take the nap. I napped through your question.
You did. It sounds like.
I think what you're trying to do is you're trying to nap so that I get to camp first and have it all set up with a rip-roaring fire. Food's ready to go, and you're just gonna come into camp all rested because you don't have to keep catching up to me. You don't have to keep a fast pace. So I think yeah, you'd probably come just even holding your tent because you're like, by the time I get to camp, it's gonna be nighttime, so I'm just gonna throw it down on the ground and be ready to go. So
all right, that's a really long answer to a short question, but thank you for that. Just yes or no.
Well, okay. Well, I'll start doing that from now on. You ask a question, it's just yes or no.
Kidding.
Let's see how that plays out on a podcast. If you guys want a 20-minute podcast, it's going to happen, okay?
You just went all over the place. Naps in Europe. I napped, even though I haven't been to Europe. I technically have been to Europe. Like, that was a long answer. All right. Check out Teton's lineup of napping tents at tetongear.com. All right, Ben, what you got for trivia?
All right. Trivia. You ready for this? It's trend trivia. When someone says that tracks, they mean the train is driving good. I want some Moose Tracks ice cream. What you say makes sense, or I'm in your lane.
Is this a trend for something people say? Like, what's the connection here?
Oh, my kids hate this trend. This. If you're like, I won't give it away. I'll tell you. Yeah.
It's tracks. This tracks is like it makes sense.
Yeah. what you say makes sense. Yeah, I figured you
Okay.
know that, so I give
Yeah.
you easier ones because I'm like, well, he's a teacher, he should know this one, right? You hear it probably a lot all the time.
I'm not at the forefront. Like, I should be more knowledgeable about trends because of being a teacher, and like I can be educated by the students in that area, but I'm not. I'll be
My kids tell me all this stuff. They're like, "Don't say that tracks." It's so annoying.
Okay.
All right. So pineapple pizza was invented in Canada, and I never got to ask my question about it. So I brought it up into trivia.
Wait, you think that Matty Outdoors knows about the invention of pineapple pizza and has a lot of information about that? Is what you're saying?
I wanted to ask him if he likes pineapple pizza because it's Canadian, but I was going to
Okay.
word it differently, but I didn't get to it. So,
Yeah. That's not a very interesting question. Hey, unrelated to everything else, do you like pineapple pizza?
well, we were talking about food, so I was gonna work it into the food, and then we're like, oh, let's get to the
we
questions.
did talk about Vermont maple syrup, which also didn't make any sense. So my bad on that one.
Yeah, come on, Carl. This isn't just backpacking; it's entertainment. I hope people are entertained. So, all right. Are you ready for the question?
Yeah. Sorry.
What year was pineapple pizza invented? 1962, 1969, 1974, or 1997?
Oh, not 97. It's been around for longer than that. Yeah, this is like a controversial thing. Some people are like all into the pineapple pizza. I personally am not. I'll go with like the 74.
Oh, incorrect. 62. 62.
Okay. Yeah, I should have known that one.
Yeah.
My bad.
You should have. Now you do. Now you do.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Being called preppy was made famous by what TV show? Saved by the Bell, MASH, Growing Pains, or Lilo and Stitch?
Hey, Preppy. Preppy.
What is that accent?
I'm imitating Slater from Saved by the Bell.
Okay.
Saved by
That
the
was
Bell?
not even close. Yeah.
Not a good impersonator.
I thought that was like Stitch. I was like, oh, he's gonna
Oh,
go with
sorry.
Stitch or MASH here. Yeah, that was a horrible impression. Yeah. All right,
Am I
that's all I
right?
got. So you passed.
Is it right?
2 out of 3. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, thank you. Pass trivia. Okay, get into tidbits here. What's the biggest cultural trend that doesn't make any sense to you?
Oh, this one is very controversial, and I don't know where you fall on
Okay.
it, but it's the guys wearing the short shorts.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Short shorts, not just like to
Okay.
play sports or anything, but like out in public, just at the mall. I just don't get it. Like,
Yeah.
it looks so uncomfortable because they're tight too. A
Yeah.
lot of them are probably showing off their quad muscles because I've noticed they have like big quads, but
Okay.
man, like, yeah, this doesn't make sense to me.
It does make sense to me, actually.
It does. Okay.
It does. I don't know. I don't know if what you're saying is controversial. I bet there's not a lot of short wearers out there that are listening to what we're talking about right now. But yeah, I think that, so there's this like, I think the trend is not short shorts. I think the trend is like this kind of ironical sense of bringing back old trends where it's just like, we're going to bring back things that are just like clearly ridiculous just to be ridiculous. And so I think that's what short shorts are. But then enough people are doing that they actually like, that's now what people are wearing. Like that's a thing now, right? And so
Right.
I think along those lines are mustaches.
What?
So I think it's the same genre.
Of what?
I do. I think that there's dudes like it started in the running community where like runners just randomly like growing mustaches just to kind of be like old schoolish with kind of how the old school runners
Yeah.
did it. And then it just stayed. And now you see a lot of dudes with mustaches. And I get why it's a trend, but I just don't like it. I don't like either of those. You sounds like you don't either, right?
I'm just laughing because I had a roundabout way of answering a nap, and here you're like bringing up mustaches when I'm talking about shorts. So
Same genre.
Same
Same
genre.
genre. Same idea. I connected the dots.
yeah, just like I did, just to let people know I connected.
Okay.
I don't get the short shorts. I don't think mustaches. I haven't seen that, but I guess yeah. If people are runners, you're saying that they've been growing mustaches all of a sudden, like it's a new trend. Like, oh, I'm a runner now. I'm growing a mustache.
It's been around for a few years now, but yeah, I think it started with the runners. Now you see it more culturally pervasive.
Okay, gotcha. What's your?
I'll stick with that one as my answer. I think we hammered the culture enough. I'm
Okay.
gonna stick with mustaches. Do you have a problem with mustaches, Ben?
No, I got a thick beard, but it looks like you have a problem with facial hair, just in general. So
I don't know. I think mustaches are good on a select few folks. I think some people can pull them off. I think there's a lot of people that can't pull them off that are sporting mustaches. If you're a mustache wearer, then you're probably somebody that is pulling it off well. And I'm just being overly judgmental, so I apologize.
Yeah, that doesn't sound at all like you being overly judgmental. Have you grown a mustache before
thank you.
or a beard? That was sarcasm, by the way.
Yeah, every year. I grow every year, literally.
When does it start?
In the wintertime.
Oh, okay, so it should start. So we'll start seeing.
Probably December-ish.
I don't know if I've ever seen. I've seen you.
December to typically May.
Okay.
I got the beard.
So you don't start in November when they have the like no shave November.
No, because then everybody's like, "Oh, you're like no shave November, huh?" I'm like, "No, every year I grow a beard. Stop lumping me in with these weird cultural trends."
Well, now it just looks like you missed the boat, and now you're like, "Oh, I'm going to try growing a mustache because I missed the boat."
Probably, yeah. All right. Last thing I got is our top video comment of the week, which is more like a couple weeks ago, but we put out a video called Ultralight Food Tips. And if you want some action on the Ultralight Food Tips, like, you can check out our YouTube channel. We're going to be talking about some of that stuff in the next episode. When we put out these videos that are kind of in the spirit of fun, we get some people that really have some good ideas that they add. And so the top video comment of the week is by Chad Brow. He says that 1 gram of uranium has 20 billion calories. So if you're looking to shave some weight,
Uranium?
consider bringing uranium as your food source.
Whoa. Is that like Back to the Future, right?
Yeah.
Like you could, if you run 88 miles an hour downhill, will you like time travel? If you eat that?
In Back to the Future, technically, this is a nerd response, what you're saying. They had plutonium.
Yeah.
And what's the difference, Ben? I don't know. I'm not a scientist.
But okay.
They're both not safe, and they can cause like nuclear stuff and time travel. That's kind of all I know.
Nuclear time travel. All right. So, yeah.
That's right. Ben, that's all I got, man.
That's all I got too, Carl. It was a good episode, and just remember, don't be the trend, be the trendsetter.
That's so cheesy. Have a great week, and God bless everybody.